Honey, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Again? Just where are you going?
Where are you going? You're not going to the bar again, are you?
You like hanging out, drinking beer at the bar, talking sports? Come on out and join us weekly. Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, your podcast for just that. Hanging out, drinking some beer, talking sports.
Are you really doing season 4 of that stupid podcast?
Y'all know the name of the show. It's Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. And what do guys do when they talk sports at the bar? They drink beer. So if you want to buy us a beer, you can Venmo us. The Venmo is at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. Well, thanks for tuning in for another week of Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. We're just some neighborhood friends who get together weekly at MJ's Bar and Grill in Columbia, South Carolina for some brews and a microphone. Stay tuned as we discuss some games of the week. Coming up, you got the Notre Dame-Ohio State game coming up. You also have about 5 or 6 other top 25 matchups coming up as well, including Colorado versus Oregon. You got Florida State and Clemson, which is not a top 25. We're going to talk about that anyway. Ole Miss at Alabama, UCLA, Utah, all kinds of good games coming up. So we're going to talk about those. Feel free to share this show with your friends, subscribe, give us positive reviews on your favorite podcast app. We have a Facebook group that's called Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. Feel free to join that. And always love having support of our drinking habit. I'm drinking. All my people around me are drinking, and we're at the bar, and they're all drinking.
Dude, can you believe how many people, how loud it is sitting around watching us do this podcast tonight, wanting to hear what we got to say? It is loud in here tonight.
We've got them packed in here tonight for sure.
We'll be signing autographs after the show, not during.
So if anyone around us wants to buy us a beer, or if you want to buy us a beer, go and Venmo us. It's at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports on Venmo. And we are always about getting beer bought for us. We did have one round bought for us tonight by Colleen Toombs.
Colleen!
Yes. Thank you very much. Amazing person. Thank you. Cheers to you. I'll be giving her a shout out on the Facebook group page as well.
Nice.
So let's get the introductions out of the way and then we'll move on because we got a full show tonight and the time's a ticking because we only got about 45 minutes to an hour before they're going to call last call. So go ahead. What do you got for me, Hanger? Sorry, Chopper. What are you drinking, Chopper?
I got a Corona Light. How's everybody doing?
What's up, man?
Corona Light. You watching your girlish figure?
Darn right I am.
Cheeks.
I have been.
Cheeks, you got a really pretty drink going on there. What are you drinking?
It's an orange creamsicle.
Nice. That sounds delicious.
Well, it's okay.
So, I posted something on another Facebook group today, and it was something to the effect of, hey, come join our group because it's better than your group, some other crappy group, and I put Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, and some lady chimes in. She's like, oh, is this only for guys then? And I said, hell no. We got we got a woman on our podcast, and we have about 30% or so women in our Facebook group.
Yeah,
it's not bad stats right there.
No.
Let's get the final introduction, my man, the Rebel.
How's it going? And as always, a little brown water in diet.
And some nights you've been hanging out here a little longer than others, but I can tell tonight you have not been hanging out too long.
I'm a working man. There's one of our listeners who's running me ragged. She don't want to work, so I'm having to work a little harder. It's okay. She had to be on vacation all last weekend before, so that's all right.
Listen, when you're getting your child famous, when your child's getting famous, that's her priority.
Hey, absolutely. She's now not only is she a working woman, she's an agent.
Yeah. All right. So the last few weeks I've been coming up with this word of the day thing. The words of the day describe a game that matches that word. And the first word I got for y'all is unexpected. What's an unexpected happening from last week?
Alabama.
What do you mean? Tell me more.
Right now in the season, they're not good.
They're not good.
They're not good. I mean, they've got the talent to get there. I mean, now granted, let me preface this. They're not good because they're not what we've come to expect from Alabama.
That's right. Doesn't mean they're not good.
They're not, but I'm saying by Alabama standards right now, they are in shambles like they have not been in, 10 years, 15 years?
It's been a while.
So
they have always been in that kind of plug-and-play type offense and defense where the old players leave, new players come in and plug them in, and they don't miss a beat. They're missing a beat. doesn't mean, though, that they're not as good, because trust me, as soon as you think they're not good, they're going to turn things around and surprise you.
Well, I don't know, man. Like, there's challenges on offense all across the board, not just in the quarterback position. Defensively, I think that they're okay. I think that they're the Alabama we expect on defense. Unexpected.
The problem they're running into is they play in the SEC West, where you don't get 4 or 5 games to figure it out. Every week you got to bring it, or you blink and you've lost 3 games, and here you are.
But if there's one person that you want figuring it out, you want Nick Saban.
You mean it's not the greatest coach in the country, Deion Sanders?
You want him figuring that out.
Cheeks, what was unexpected about last week? Talk to me, and you got to come in close to the microphone.
Mine's a group. It's still the Pac-12. Still 8 of the teams are on the AP poll.
That is insane that is happening. But this weekend, a lot's about to change on that Pac-12 because they're starting to beat each other up for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. When you're thinking about the word damn, Chopper, when you think about the word damn, what game from last week makes you say, damn?
Missouri all day.
Ah, he got me too. That's mine.
Missouri all day.
Yeah, right? I think the entire country
the kicker,
at one time.
Kickers are people too. Right, 61 yards. SEC record.
Let's get in the weeds with this a little bit. Last year against Auburn, he missed a 20-yard field goal to put it into overtime, which allowed Auburn to win.
Yeah,
he kicked 61 yards, and that thing was good from 65.
But this was the thicker kicker from last year too, right?
It's the same guy though, so you can't hit a chip shot. But to win a game against a top 20 team, you split the uprights with yardage to give, dude. That's damn.
That's beast.
Damn.
That's good stuff.
And that's the only one.
Just for you, Nikki Traywick.
Yeah, there was actually one person that specifically called that out, that they wanted us to talk about that particular shot. So, and she said she might come down here and talk about it, but she couldn't make it. I don't even know.
Again, proof that we pay attention to the Facebook group, that we take comments and input and make sure we incorporate it when it's appropriate.
That's right. All right. So for me, it was Florida versus Tennessee. I said, "Damn! I told you all I was right about that." No one wanted to believe me that Florida's going to beat Tennessee, but they did.
You're right about that, and I still don't know if Florida's that good. But they played good. They played a good game. Played a good game.
From a defensive perspective.
Which I brought that up. Defensively, statistically wise, they are one of the top defenses in the country.
And they kept that strong Tennessee offense on its toes.
I'm going to need to see another game or two before I get sold on Florida.
I think Dan is more USC holding their own in the first half against Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we all expected them to lose.
Wait a minute. Coming from a Southern Cal girl, you need to...
Did you refer to them as USC?
No, I like it. We're teaching us.
You're selling out.
Okay, Carolina.
No.
Yeah, that was a damn moment for me as well, because at halftime, I was thinking, holy crap, the number one team in the country is going to go down. Damn. But then they came back and made me say, damn.
Yeah.
They're a second half team. Damn.
Yeah. They sure are.
You know? All right. Told you so.
This was an easy one.
What do you mean?
Because all I could think of you.
Told you
Hanger
so.
saying, I told you so. I told you Florida was going to win. I told you. And you were right.
Yeah. I totally could have put told you so, because that could have been my told you so, but I wanted to change it up because that's way too predictable for me. What do you got for me?
My told you so, that's still kind of an early told you so based on strength of schedule. But I told you so that Oregon State is going to be a contender when this all shakes out with DJ Alphabet out there. That made me hesitate when they pointed that out, but that guy has found his cleats, and he knows all of a sudden how to play this game again. Now, granted, their strength of schedule for the first 3 games is a little suspect, but now they're going to get into this.
They have Washington State.
The Pac-12 is the greatest conference in the world, apparently the Cheeks. We're going to find out just how good Oregon State is, but I told you so that they are going to make some noise.
I told you Georgia is not as good a team as we think they are. And I'm telling you, they will not be undefeated in October.
So you got a told you so, and I'm telling you.
Yes.
Holy crap, this guy's going above and beyond.
Yes, I know.
All right.
Exceeding expectations always.
My told you so is Alabama has shown exactly what I thought they might be at the beginning of the season, at 8-4, 9-3, even maybe a 7-5 team. So I'm just gonna say after last week, I told you also about that, but like my man Chopper said, we got Nick Saban there. He's putting the geniuses out there to make sure that does not happen again this week.
He hasn't slept since Saturday night.
Yeah. What is going on? What's going on in? Whoa!
Wow, the bar just got really loud. This is proof that we were actually in a bar.
There's a birthday party.
There's a birthday party.
That's what it is. We'll let that go. We'll let that
There
fly.
we go. Now let's go.
It's actually the guys at the bar talking sports birthday. That's why they were singing it.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. When you're thinking about a game last week or even a player last week, and you have to think beast mode. Beast mode. What do you got for me, Cheeks, on beast mode?
Mine was, although he got injured, Travis Hunter.
Why?
Well, I mean, the dude was taken out with a lacerated liver, but he came back today and said that he had no hatred or any meanness in his body for him. He said, "It's football. I'm going to get up and fight again."
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and he's ready for it. He's going to miss at least 3 games, but he's ready, and he's anxious, and he's wearing a giraffe onesie.
Well, then that's kind of beast. He's kind of dressing like a beast mode, I guess. I don't know. Michael Penix Jr., right? 1,332 yards in the season. The number 1 rated quarterback right now in the country. 12 touchdowns. Around this hype with Shedeur Sanders and all this stuff going on, nobody is mentioning Michael Penix Jr. And this guy is freaking insane and on fire, and he's gonna keep on going. That is beast mode.
Where was he at before in Washington? I forget. I was having this conversation today. He transferred to Washington.
He did
from
this
where?
year from Arizona State, maybe? I can't remember.
We'll look it up and we'll clarify.
You know who's going to go beast mode this weekend?
Who's going beast mode this weekend?
My man Bo Nix.
Bo Nix is going beast mode this weekend.
Against Colorado, against Prime. You're going to finally put Colorado down.
You think that? I mean,
Bo Nix makes his run for the Heisman this weekend.
Don't get ahead of yourself. We're about to talk about that game here.
Yeah,
beast mode thus far, and it's because I have them in my final 4. But beast mode because they are doing exactly what they were supposed to do through 3 games. It's Penn State. Again, they are sitting there. Michigan and Ohio State gets all this attention. But Penn State is just cleaning house and taking names right now against teams that they should do that. But right now they're efficient. They're not turning the ball over, and they're blowing out teams they should be blowing out. Early in the season, you always get a pulse up. Are they blowing out the teams they should? Are they beating the winning, or are those games kind of close? We've had some what we thought like Alabama last week with South Florida. That should have been a blowout on paper, right? And it went down late. Penn State is not doing that. They are taking care of business right now. They're in beast mode.
Beast mode. All right, I gotta pose a question to the family over here. Okay, I have to pose it. The limelight, it is bright. Y'all know this, right? It's hot. It turns people into killers. It also burns people on the field, right? That limelight is hard for young people especially. And sometimes they can't handle that fame. Is this going to affect the young men there in Boulder, Colorado? Because did you see this? They had Lil Wayne opening up the show for them. You have famous people coming in left and right to talk to these guys. Is that going to hurt or help that program, do y'all think?
It's going to help it short term, but I'm telling you, the hangover's coming. Hangover's coming. It's going to hurt. It's going to be like, what do we do now? We can't do this every single weekend. Right, it's fun and partying right now. It's going to end.
As Mike Tyson would say, you have a plan. It's all fun until you get punched in the mouth. Yeah. And last week they got punched in the mouth a bit. Yeah. So now against a group of 5 school, not even one of the
against big Colorado State, which Washington State beat them 52 to 17.
Yeah, and it's a rivalry game, so you got to account for that a little bit. But what I'm interested to see right now is we're going to find out just how much testicular fortitude they have because they lose one of their key pieces for 3 games, and now they're about to get into the teeth of their schedule. Like, they're going to find out what they're made of, and it's just going to be a matter of when it gets hard, when sledding gets tough, are they going to spit out the bit, or are they just going to be how they've done 3 games, find a way? And if they win this week,
they're legitimate.
Oh my goodness, the conversation changed because they're at Oregon and missing a player. If they were to find a way to win this week, yeah. And do I get on the train at this point? Yeah, at that point I do.
Okay.
Not so fast, my friend. Bo Nix is going to make sure that doesn't happen.
Well, let's get to
I don't
that
think it does. I said if it does.
And we're getting to that. Do you think that the reason why that dude took that hit on Travis Hunter the way he did, do you think the reason why that happened was because of the glamour and the fame that's going on around that team right now? Like, that hit was blatant. He was about a yard and a half out of bounds already. It was about probably a second and a half after the play, and this guy just pounds him down.
Let me explain some of this. Do I think he was trying to send a message? Yes. 10 years ago, that's not an illegal hit. So let's just keep this relative. The new rules have made that a dirty hit.
Okay.
But 10 years ago, you stand over him, you talk junk, and you get up and get back to the huddle.
Yeah.
So do I think he was trying to hurt the kid? No. But do I think he was trying to send a message that, we're not bothered by your yap and we're not bothered by all the hype? Yes, that's exactly what he was doing.
Anytime you ever played against a player like that was getting a lot of attention, kind of prima donna thing, your attention goes to, I'm going to show him something.
Let me tell you, the best way to shut up somebody having been there and done it is you hit him in the mouth as hard as you can.
Absolutely.
And if you can put enough doubt in his mind that he's not looking for the football to go to catch it, he's looking for you, he's done. He's done. And that's what he tried to do. It's just with today's rules, that was considered a dirty hit.
Gotcha, okay.
Good point.
David Anthony makes the comment on the Facebook group, no team seems unbeatable this season. Why is this?
I think because of the parity that has become part of the transfer portal and NIL.
Say the same thing.
You're starting to see the parity again.
Transfer portal?
I'm not a fan of it, but people are still feeling out how to handle all this. And you've got schools such as Clemson that are still resistant to it, and you're seeing them suffer because of it. I really do think the environment we're in now has caused a lot of parity, same way we did in college basketball, by making kids stay in school. So is it good for competition? Yes. Is it good for the health of the game? No.
Okay.
This season will be an adjustment period. Then you can go into next season a little bit, but everybody will catch on to what is needed what the recipe is, right?
And the best can't stay the best forever.
No.
You're always going to have the tide turning.
There's the tide. The tide does turn. There's also the top 12 teams are going to be in the playoffs next season, and I think there's a lot of recruiters that are out there saying, "Hey, listen, we're in the Pac-12, we're in the Big 10, we're in the Big 12. If we're in the top 2 or 3 teams, we have a chance of making it into the playoffs. So just come play with us, rather than SEC dominance, where 2 teams in the SEC are going to make the playoffs every time.
Right.
Now it could be 4 teams from the SEC, 3 teams from this conference, and 4 teams from that conference.
I digress for about 2 seconds here. How stupid is the powers that be in the Pac-12 looking right now that they've put this much quality on the field, but did not do their homework to maintain the integrity of that conference, to be able to go get TV contracts and go garner money to keep that conference together. And now you could argue 3 games through the season right now, they're having the most successful season that they've had since they expanded 12 teams.
And it's just amazing to me
Is that because they're so good, or the other conferences are not good?
A little both.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both as well. The Pac-12, a lot of teams are undefeated right now. That's going to change this weekend. We know that. Is it just the fact that they're beating, but they are beating some quality teams too?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they've had some parity that's allowed that, which has brought some of these other conferences down a little bit. Again, the spread has closed a little bit here to where now they have the talent to be able to compete. Again, I said 30 seconds. We digressed to 2 minutes. I apologize.
Did FSU win, or did Boston College lose the game?
Boston College.
That's from Sean Kane, by the way.
Boston College lost. I couldn't believe they were dominated.
Look, this is going to be an unpopular opinion from some of our most loyal listeners. Did Boston College lose the game? Yes. But good teams find a way.
That's right.
Good teams find a way. Look, every year, you can look at even like last year with Georgia, won a national championship. What was the game? Oh, Ohio State in the Final Four. Ohio State should win this game, but Georgia found a way. So every good team, you don't ever see anybody run the table uninhibited without a close game or a loss these days. So is that the close game that makes Florida State that much better? We're going to find out. Again, I had them in my Final Four, and I'll get chastised for this. That's okay. But, yeah, Boston College lost the game, but in the same breath, Florida State found a way to hold on and win.
That's right. Okay, so, y'all, you guys know the best way to pick the team to win could be to look at the stats, look deep into those books and see.
Are we talking about winning or are we talking about winning bets here?
Winning bets, yeah. Best way to win bets, right? You might call a statistician and get them on the phone and say, hey, statistically, which team's going to win? You might even call an expert or become an expert yourself. But here, we listen to a 3-year-old on this show, right?
We call him the legend.
His name's the legend, Landon Legend, and that's what we get. That's how we figure out who's going to win these games.
And he's still over 500 for the season.
So let's hear the legendary picks for the week.
Oregon, Clemson, Alabama, Utah, Washington State, Penn State, Notre Dame.
So those were your legendary picks. Basically, guys, he chose all of the home teams. So I think he's going with home team advantage on every single one of these games. He chose Oregon. He chose basically all the home teams. So that's what we're gonna go with on the legendary picks this week. All right.
Me, I think that gets him 500.
That might get him 500. You never know. But let's jump into the first game because we've talked so much about it already. And that's going to be number 19 Colorado at number 10 Oregon. Now that Colorado game last week was freaking rough, dude. Absolutely rough. They came back in the end and won. Good teams, great teams find ways to win, I guess. That's fine. But Oregon is going to come into this game they're expected to win, 93.5% chance that they win. I don't know if that's right. And the reason why I say that is because this game could get into a shootout. We know Colorado can score points.
But they've lost their primary weapon that's not called a quarterback.
That's not true. Okay, Travis Hunter plays both sides of the ball, but he's not the number 1 or even the number 2 receiver on that team.
But do you know why? Because he's drawing the double coverages, which is allowing these other guys to catch the ball.
See, I just don't. I see him as really good on both sides of the ball, but not great on both sides of the ball. So he's an above-average player on both sides of the ball.
Well, what I'm saying is they know he's athletic enough that if he gets hot, he's going to be real hot. So they're rolling a safety over his side every time. Now they don't have to do that.
And that could be true. That could be true. So he's out of the game. They still managed to come back and win the last game. This is a team that can put up points. So if this gets into a shootout, Colorado can win this game. The other thing that I'm saying, though, is that it comes down to whose defense is better, and Colorado's defense is not there. Whereas Oregon has shown that they have a pretty good defense. So I think that 96% might be a little off. It might be more like 70-30.
No, if you're saying who's going to win the game, I think it's pretty accurate. We're not talking about the spread. We're just talking about wins and losses here. I think that's pretty accurate. Here's the way I look at this. Again, Colorado has already exceeded bookie expectation. They're already at what they thought they were going to have their win total at for the year. So they're playing on house money. The thing is this with Colorado that a lot of folks need to understand is Oregon can win this game if Colorado keeps this game close for the season of how their outcomes are. It's a win for them. You don't take moral victories, and Lord knows Deion Sanders doesn't take moral victories. Yeah. But if Colorado can keep this to a one-score, 10-point game for how they're going to perform the rest of the year, it's a win.
Yeah.
But do I think this is when the show comes off the rails a little bit, barring injuries? Yeah, I mean, I think Oregon has just been there. They're battle-tested. They know exactly what they have. I think Oregon wins the game.
Yeah,
how does Bo Nix do in this game there, Chopper?
I think Bo Nix kind of solidifies his run for the Heisman this weekend. I think that it was a little bit of help from the Oregon defense, shutting down Shedeur Sanders.
Which he is it's not hard to shut him down.
Yeah.
When things like in the very beginning of the first two games, the last two games, against Nebraska and against Colorado State, they were not performing well in that first half.
Right. We talked about all the fun they're having in Boulder right now. I think that party ends this weekend. I think they're still going to have a good season, but it's not going to be this wild toga party every weekend, where they're calling in everybody and game day this and game day that. It's going to be a normal. This is going to bring it back to reality this weekend.
Reality's going to set in. Cheeks. You're our Pac-12 expert. Hit me, girl.
Well, I think that Oregon is not going to have a hard time in all of this. I hate to say it, but I know that there's a lot of people believing in Colorado. I'm not a believer.
So there's going to be no told you so on that one next week.
No.
Well, here's the way I look at this. Let's be honest. TCU is not as good as they had been preseason picked to be. Colorado has played three pretty not very good teams.
Right.
When you're playing bad teams, you can afford to have slow starts.
Yeah.
When you're playing Oregon, when you're playing Southern Cal, when you're playing Oregon State, you're playing Utah, you can't start slow. You got to be out the gate running, and especially with a team that likes to put up points, run and gun, and just try to outscore you. If it takes you a quarter and a half to get yourself going, you're 21, 24 points behind, and there's no catching up from that. So that's why I think at this point in the season, we're going to find out what they're made of. Again, I'm not going to doubt them yet because they found a way, but I think the deck is very much stacked against them going into Eugene.
Did you guys know that Bo Nix is only 23 years old?
There's no way. There's no way. He's like 72. He's played 42 years of college football.
No, I Wikipedia'd him today.
Wikipedia, it lies. It lies.
Well,
this is his fifth year.
Fifth year, and he's still got 14 years of eligibility left, apparently.
Yeah, he's only 23 years old. That blew my mind. But anyway,
which for a college quarterback is old, man. That's like the next Stetson Bennett.
Whatever, 22. If you've been in college for 4 years, that's 22. That's not that bad.
1 extra year. He's not that old.
I digress, but I always thought he was 26, maybe 27. Oh, you're looking it up. I see.
No, I'm not looking up. I'm pulling up my notes.
He's got the guys in the back looking it up right now to confirm.
we got our version of Game Day's Bear off in the corner pulling up stats for us.
All right. No, actually, we hired Bear in the back. What are you talking about? I mean, we're that big. We're that big. He's not on Game Day anymore. Number 4, Florida State at Clemson. The reason why I bring this up, this is not a top 25 matchup, but this is a game that Clemson could win. And y'all are going to laugh at me on that. I know you are, and you will too, because you have Florida State going to top 4 just like I do. But Clemson's had 2 weeks to work out those challenges that they saw at Duke. And I think that Dabo Swinney has figured those things out. If you look at the last game, it was 45-7. So defensively, they know what they're doing on defense. Offensively, I think that the quarterback I think that they figured out how to use, is it Cade Klubnik or something like that? I think that they figured out how to use him in the right way to win some games. Is there any chance?
What time is this game at?
I don't know. I'd have to look that up. I think it's
guys in the back.
12 noon.
It's a 12 noon game. And it's at
I think
Clemson.
That makes a difference.
I mean, it's a tough place
to
play.
Clemson.
No, it doesn't make. You want to tell you why it doesn't make a difference? It's because it's in South Carolina. 12 noon games are hot. They're coming from Tallahassee. It's hot.
The only reason I say that is because a night game against Florida State, I would tend to maybe go more with Clemson. But with a noon game, I'm going to go with Florida State.
Hanger, you basically said they figured it out against Florida Atlantic. Okay, they're playing Florida Atlantic.
I know that.
It does not matter. Okay, my thing is this, and again,
it gives them the same thing Florida did.
Little confidence.
The thing that Florida did in the previous game before they played Tennessee is they were throwing the ball a lot. They were getting things going. They were spreading things out. They were running the ball just to see how things are going to work.
Here's what I will tell you. Florida State's better than Duke. This is going to be the best team that Clemson's played thus far.
I think Duke is a good team, too.
Duke's not bad.
Is a really good
Duke's
team.
not bad. Florida State's better. Again, I know we've had a lot of Facebook discussion because of that game last week with Florida State, and I can appreciate that. Again, I think that was kind of Florida State's overlooking to this game because we see that happen quite a bit.
They were looking ahead.
They were looking ahead to Clemson, knowing that basically, in my opinion, this is your ACC championship game this weekend. And
this determines who's going.
In my opinion, yes. Can North Carolina make some noise? They could, but I'm telling you what, my boys gave them all they wanted, and based off of that, you saw nothing to think they're going to win the ACC. Can they figure it out? Sure they can. But that being said, I think what you saw last week was Florida State overlooking a bad team, looking forward to this game. Do I think it's probably a close game? I do. But I still think, like I said, Florida State's in my Final Four. Yes, I did say that since they're in my Final Four.
I like Florida State on Saturday.
I do.
Yeah, all day.
See, I think that Florida State's going to win this game, but I think this might be on our upset list and say, because Clemson has had 2 weeks of cupcake teams to figure things out a little bit on offense.
Dude, it's really an upset. Right now, the spread's sitting at 2.5 favored to Florida State. So that's basically meaning that basically means they're basically saying because they're playing at Clemson that it's a 2.5 point dog. Basically, it's a pick 'em. And so we're going to find out because if Dabo's going to right the ship, it happens this weekend. If it doesn't happen this weekend, they're in for a long season.
This is sort of
to be the next head coach of Florida.
Yeah, this is sort of a make or break game for Clemson, for real. And then for Florida State, I mean, this determines whether they have an easy road the rest of the season until they get to the ACC championship. Because this is the last team they're going to play that might beat them, I think.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at every game Florida State's playing, but I mean, Florida is not going to beat Florida State. And I'm a Gator fan, y'all know that. I just don't see that happening right now. Now, in 3 weeks, I might be changing my tune if Florida goes to LSU and wins that game.
I mean, if you really want to look at this, the only other challenges based off the season thus far is they play Syracuse at home. I don't think that's really a challenge. They play Duke at home. That game will be close in the first. It'll be close in the first half. I think they pull it out, and then you got at Miami now, and then you got Florida. So they get past this. Their seas get real calm, barring injuries.
Well, Miami might be. I mean, we always say this, right? Miami might be all that and more, but then they always turn out not to be all that.
No,
and more.
I could see Miami losing to somebody like Boston College, but then turning around and beating Florida State. That's just Miami's mantra these days. So, but to the point being is, their road gets a lot easier if they beat Clemson at Clemson.
Shakes, what do you got for me?
I think it can go either way. I feel like it's on any given day, any team could win. I vacillated. I picked Florida State, but I vacillated between the two. That was a tough pick for me. Out of all of them, that was the toughest pick for me.
That was, okay, yeah.
And I think if Mark Wahlberg goes and rallies the troops again, like he did last Saturday. I don't know if you guys saw the clips. He was in the locker room rallying everybody.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Hey, let's move on to Ole Miss versus at Alabama. Sorry. Number 15 Ole Miss, number 13 Alabama. Saban versus Lane Kiffin. Ole Miss is an apparent offensive powerhouse right now, from what I see, going up against a team that basically only has defense on their side, from what I see. Jalen Milroe will be playing as the quarterback for Alabama, is my understanding. And then Jackson Dart over in Ole Miss, man, is just a stud at quarterback. If we see the team that came out in Tampa last week,
it's a
come out this week in Tuscaloosa, it's a freaking blowout. That Ole Miss has the offense to get past Alabama's defense.
Alabama rights the ship this weekend.
Oh my gosh! Are you gonna have a "told you so" next week?
Yep.
Because I don't think Alabama.
Let me tell you.
I'm wearing an Auburn hat right now.
I don't think so.
Let me tell you what determines this game: Mississippi's run defense. Because how do you get your quarterback settled in as you run right, you run left, and how do you keep a good offense off the field? You run right, you run left, you keep the ball out of their hands. If Alabama has success running the football against Mississippi's run defense, Alabama wins the game. If Mississippi stuffs the run, this gets ugly. This gets ugly like Alabama hadn't seen ugly in a long time.
Lots of 3 and outs.
Clock management, classic old SEC drive football. We run the ball and play defense.
And yes, we drive. We get 7, 8 minute drives and then play defense.
Trust me, it'll come down to coaching.
Yes,
but I just, even though Saban's a better coach than Lane Kiffin, I just cannot see Alabama righting the ship in 1 week like that.
I don't think it's going to take them that long. I mean, I think they've had a couple off games. I think they come back and they just, I mean, trust me, he has been up trying to figure this stuff out.
So he pulled Jalen Milroe from that entire game last week, I believe. Like, he didn't play. Jalen Milroe did not play at all because he was trying things out with the other two quarterbacks.
It wasn't so much the quarterback was the issue.
3 for 5
the surrounding cast.
And then the other thing I always go back to when I'm in turmoil about how games can go, the boys in the desert always seem to know because they're about money.
So what's the line?
Alabama by 7.
Are you kidding me?
That's the current line. So therefore, that just throws another big wrench into all this conversation.
That line is larger than the Clemson versus Florida State game.
Yes.
I'm going to go put a lot of money on
that. Trust me, that Alabama defense is going to show up
and the legend picked
down.
The Tide.
They will shut down.
The legend picked the Tide because he
likes home teams.
I honestly think that the legend may have thought about it for a second. Like he did with the Florida game, and he was like, "Roll Tide," and then
begrudgingly. You say begrudgingly.
Alabama is not going to show up and play a bad game against Ole Miss. Period.
Yeah,
they're just not going to do it. Trust me. They have good players. They played a couple bad games. They are not going to show up and play bad.
All right, so this is a team that is probably going to show up and play bad, in my opinion. And we got number 22 UCLA versus number 11 Utah. It's playing in Utah, in Provo. In Salt Lake City. Sorry, Provo is where BYU is at.
Utah State was in Salt Lake City.
University of Utah is in Salt Lake City.
All right, I trust you.
I'm probably wrong. But
guys in the back, look it up.
Look it up quick, right?
Only the Pac-12.
All right, 2 undefeated teams in the Pac-12. Honestly, Utah all the way, y'all. I just know it. Just a better team all around. They're playing at 4,400 feet of altitude.
We know about it playing at altitude.
What's the altitude in LA right now? Like
10 feet?
Sea level.
Yeah, okay, if that's the case, yeah. Like this is a team that is going to be just worn out after the third quarter, man. I tell you what. And then Utah is just a good team in general. I don't know if they're going to win the Pac-12, but UCLA is definitely not winning the Pac-12. This is the week that they go down.
It is Salt Lake. They are in Salt Lake.
Well, hey, Bear, thank you very much. We appreciate you looking it up for us, man. Putting this guy to work this time of year.
I have lost a lot of faith in Chip Kelly. I just don't think he can figure out good defenses, and Utah's defense isn't that bad. Now, granted, offensively at the quarterback position, they've had injuries, they've had backups, they've had a lot of questions. But playing in Salt Lake, I think Utah gets it done. I quite frankly think this is a sloppy, boring game, but I think Utah pulls it out.
I go Utah 2, move on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not that big of a game this weekend.
Meanwhile,
what? What do you got, Cheeks?
I picked UCLA to win.
Oh, no.
Do you have some sort of... Are they close to your heart? Is this an emotional shot?
Yeah, my mom used to work there.
Okay, well then, we'll give you a pass on that one.
Yeah.
Another Pac-12 team that we talked about earlier, and another 2 undefeated Pac-12 teams that are playing this weekend. Number 14, Oregon State, untested, by the way, this year, versus number 21, Washington State, tested already against Wisconsin and against what?
Now, Wisconsin, I don't know if that's considered tested. That remains to be seen.
Okay, 2 undefeated teams. This game is a toss-up in my mind, but I'm going to give it to Washington State only because I'm looking at them and they've played a Power 5 team out of conference and won that game, and that was against Wisconsin. I don't know that Oregon State has been tested yet. This is going to be the biggest test that they've had, and I just don't feel like... What the hell is the guy's name?
DJ Alphabet.
DJ Alphabet. I think that we see a DJ Alphabet that comes from Clemson who does not handle pressure very well. And that's what's going to happen in this game.
I disagree from the standpoint of, again, I picked Oregon State to be a sleeper. He's done nothing but build confidence over the last 3 weeks. he never was able to build any confidence up in Clemson. He never could get himself to where he was comfortable. And with every game, he looks more comfortable. It pains me to say that because I can't stand anything coming out.
I know you're a Beavers fan, so.
Well, aren't we all? Never mind. That being said, do I think they go into Washington State? Look, I think Oregon State wins the game. This is going to be the moment we find out, are they for real or not. This is going to be the moment to where when they're playing USC and they're playing Oregon in the Civil War, last game of the year, are we going to be talking about them as a Final Four contender out of the Pac-12? This week starts that or ends it right now. I mean, this week determines the rest of their season. Again, always barring injury. Again, always go back to the boys in the desert. They're playing away, and they are a 3-point favorite.
Yep. Let's move on.
Huskies.
Let's move back east. We got to move back to the east, okay? We have a couple of Big Ten matchups, or a couple.
Big Ten.
Sorry,
there's nothing in the East. Well, yeah, maybe these days there are.
There's 3 Big Ten teams that are playing this weekend. I guess Midwest. There's 3 Big Ten teams that are playing this weekend. One of those games is number 24 Iowa, the Hawkeyes, versus the Nittany Lions, number 7. Now, you had said earlier that they were your team that you
Penn State's in the Final Four. They blow them out. This game's over early. Call it a day. Move on.
Yeah,
why do you say that, though?
It's an easy pick. Yeah.
Because the simple fact of the matter is Penn State's a way better team, and Iowa cannot score points. And their defense is not good enough to keep it to a 10-7 game. I mean, Iowa's offensive coordinators' salaries incentivized. They have to average 25 points a game, and I don't know if they've hit it yet. Okay, they can't score. You got to score points to win ball games. Penn State is a very sound, quietly good football team. This game is over early.
I think that this game is going to be a low-scoring game comparably because Penn State can score, but they're not racking up 70 points a game or whatever. Although they have one game that was 65-7.
Yeah,
right?
but you look at the competition when they did that.
But last week Illinois who they played. I believe, did they play Illinois?
Yes.
And it was a lower scoring game, 30-14, I think.
What is the line on this?
Yeah, I would love to know the line on this
real
one.
quick. But if you look at Iowa, they scored 24 against Utah State. They scored 20 against Iowa State. They scored 41 against Western Michigan. Western Michigan, it took a group of 5 to get them to actually score some points.
Yeah.
So I just don't. And you're playing in Happy Valley. Yeah. Come on, man. That game gets out of hand.
Penn State all day. Move on.
Yeah, that weak offense over in Iowa is not going to be able to come out to Happy Valley and score any points. They're going to be all over the field.
Yeah, the line right now is Penn State favored by 14.5.
The biggest game of the weekend. Besides the Florida versus Charlotte game.
Oh, great.
The biggest game.
Mississippi State, Carolina?
Mississippi State, Carolina. All right, just play with me for a minute. Who wins that game? Because I think that Mississippi State might come to Columbia.
I think that game actually is very entertaining, very close. It goes to the 4th quarter.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good show. If I went after the Furman game, I would go Mississippi State, but I think Carolina actually played well against Georgia.
The first half.
Yeah.
That being said, they've said Wells is not playing.
It's going to be a shootout between 2 really good quarterbacks, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Because both teams have great receivers and a great quarterback. It's going to be all outside all the time. It's going to be the corners are going to come back, determine who wins this game, I think. Yeah, because both teams are going to score legitimate edges.
I think the home crowd plays a big role in this at night.
Okay.
Real quick with that game is this. I love peeling back the onion and getting in the weeds. Mississippi State's linebackers decide this game because they can pin back their ears and blitz Rattler the way North Carolina did because South Carolina's running game is dead again this week.
Yeah.
Mississippi State wins the game. If the offensive line can block those linebackers to where you give Rattler time. He's one of the best. He's one of the most precise quarterbacks in the country.
Oh yeah,
he's proven that. You got to give him time. If he's running for his life, Mississippi State wins the game.
This is exactly what Hanger said at the beginning of the season. All he's going to do is be running for his life the whole
season. For his life all season. That's what I said. Number 6 Ohio State versus number 9 Notre Dame. A home game for Notre Dame. always overrated in my
And
opinion.
look who comes in right on cue.
Oh my God!
Yay!
Oh,
Notre Dame is definitely the favorite here, I think.
Notre Dame, we just started talking about Notre Dame, and my man, the Ripper, the Predictor, the Ohio State alumni.
Not alumni,
sorry. Just Ohio State fan through and through has just made it to the show, and we're going to talk
perfect
Ohio
timing.
State, versus Notre Dame, or at Notre Dame. So I'm going to give you the floor, Ripper. Here, let me even hold the microphone right up to your face. I'm just kidding. You just got to talk loud, though.
All right, so we got game day in South Bend, Indiana, a game that I'm pretty nervous about, especially after what happened last year. Our offense seemed to be clicking a lot more when we played Notre Dame in week 2 than it has been so far in the first 3 weeks of this season. However, our defense does look like they've made some positive strides over the last couple of years.
In the front 7.
Definitely in the front 7. Our quarterbacks are actually looking pretty good. Honestly, for the first time since 2021, our quarterbacks got an interception this year. So defensively, we're looking a lot better than we did last year. Offensively, last week against a very poor defense, Western Kentucky, we started putting everything together. I think it's going to be a close game. Notre Dame's going to have home field advantage. Marcus Freeman, former Buckeye linebacker, who's now their head coach, he's doing a great job moving them in the right direction. I'm going to go Ohio State 30, Notre Dame 20.
Okay.
Thinking with your heart, not your head.
Yeah, so
I thought about this for an hour and a half.
I get it.
I got to call you out on this because you don't think that Sam Hartman's going to put up more than 20 points against Ohio State? And the reason why I say that is this is probably top. I think he's number 11 quarterback in the country right now. I could
What
be
defense
wrong.
has he played so far?
I'd have to look. We have to have Bear look that up in the back.
Bear!
We got Bear Bryant working in the back.
Yeah,
for us
so he
now.
played Navy's defense, which can be difficult,
Okay.
but typically not.
Hold on, I'll tell you right now. Notre Dame has played Navy, Tennessee State, North Carolina State, Central Michigan.
Okay.
So not your best defenses.
Look,
I would say
here.
not comparable to what they're about to do.
Here's my look at this, and it's been very documented on this show, and I've caught some grief online about this. I don't think McCarthy at Michigan's a very good quarterback compared to what's out there. Hartman is a better quarterback. Hartman is a better quarterback than McCarthy. McCarthy ate up Ohio State's safeties last year. That's why they won the game. McCarthy ate up Ohio State's safeties. If this game's going to come down, look, I like narrowing it down this week, don't I? It's going to come down Sam Hartman against Ohio State safeties. And if they can play with their receivers, this game gets entertaining. If they can't defend any better than they did against Michigan last year, when you get in that deep third, that 15, 20, 25 yards, Notre Dame wins the game, especially playing at home. Right now, I think, when I looked at it, I think Ohio State playing at Notre Dame is a 3-point favorite right now. So
Now, I would not be surprised if Notre Dame has a 3 to 7 point advantage at halftime. But ultimately, I think what's going to be the deciding factor in this game is depth, talent, and depth. And Ohio State has that edge at this point.
I will say this, I think this is the most entertaining game of the week. I think this will be fun. I think it'll be back and forth a little bit. But again, I think this is going to come down, again, assuming they can protect Hartman. But that being said, the thing I keep coming back to, he had a ton of success against really good teams with a subpar Wake Forest team. And so now you actually put a team around him that can play.
Think about the offensive line protecting Hartman now versus the offensive line at Wake Forest. He's going to have a half a second longer every single time, every game he plays, every single time he throws the ball, he has a half a second longer, and he's going to be that much better than when he was at Wake Forest. I feel like Ohio State better not be they better not be on their heels the entire game, and they better be preparing hard for this game.
Early-
This is it. This is a huge game for both teams.
Early on, you're going to see Notre Dame running corner post routes, right corner post routes left. Get the cornerbacks wide where the talent is, and we're going to find out what their safeties have. If their safeties play with them, Ohio State wins the game. If their safeties get burned the way they did last year against Michigan, they don't have a chance.
Well, is Estime going to be able to loosen up that front seven to open up that passing game?
Give him time.
Right, that's going to be important.
Marvin Harrison Jr., how do they control him in this game, Ripper? Because that guy...
Ask Georgia.
You try to take his head clean off.
He's just so fast.
22.3 miles an hour, I think he was clocked at last week.
They said he was the fastest player in NFL or college football.
And that's amazing. If you look at the way he's built, he's all torso. He's got these short little legs
that move 1,000 miles a minute.
He's so damn fast.
Yeah, so can they control him? Because if Notre Dame can protect that outward boundary, but then again, they're going to have their safeties playing a little bit further back. Because
they don't have to control him. They have to control the line of scrimmage.
Does he have time to get him the ball and let him run it down the field?
And that's a big question mark.
This game will be as much of a chess match as you see all year against two pretty, in my opinion, evenly matched teams, and we'll see what happens.
What the fuck? What the fuck, Ripper? What the fuck?
Okay, I got your what the fuck.
I'm going right to you, my man.
Yeah, not even prepared, but here we go. Sorry if I take this. Nick Chubb.
Oh
baby.
My gosh.
I love you. You're like the epitome of what a professional football player should be. You know, I'm not going to say it was a dirty hit. I think it was a hit that could have been avoided. But Nick Chubb, I feel for you. What the fuck?
What the fuck? What the fuck? Cheeks, what the fuck, Cheeks?
What the fuck? I'm doing NFL.
Go for it. You got it.
So the Seahawks quarterback, Geno Smith, got in the refs, in the officials' faces. He's calling him for what did he call it for? Intentional grounding. And he got really pissed off and he ran over to the official and started yelling at him on camera. The official very gently moved him to the side and said, "I'm talking to America," and then walked away.
Oh, what the fuck? Rebel, what the fuck?
My what the fuck is NFL as well, and this will be very unpopular at this table when I start this conversation, but I think we'll understand. What the fuck NFL? If you draft another Ohio State quarterback and expect him to be successful in the NFL, you have lost your freaking mind. Justin Fields right now, this many games in with the Bears, is worse than Mitch Trubisky, okay? You can go back to the last 20 years. Ohio State quarterbacks are fantastic in college. They put up 6 stats, but they just don't make that transition. I mean, Pryor is their best guy, and he did it at wide receiver, okay?
But most quarterbacks.
But no, my point being your big schools, yeah. If you get 3 out of 10, they haven't had a good one in the last 20 years, and they've had like 5 drafted in the first round. NFL, what the fuck? Stop drafting in the first round Ohio State quarterbacks.
What the fuck, Chopper?
I'm going to go back to what we talked about at the beginning and close it out with the thicker kicker from Missouri. 61 yards.
We made it full circle, y'all. What the
61
fuck?
yards, SEC record. What the fuck?
What
That's
the
a piece.
fuck?
61 yards, amazing. Kickers are people too.
I'm going to say to our fans that are listening to the show, what the fuck? Thank you for making it this far into our show and continue to listen. Buy us a beer sometime at Guys Who Love Their Sports on Venmo. All right, last call. We just heard it. We sort of heard it. Right? Last call. There we go. All right. I don't even know if she said it, but this is usually around the time she
turn
says
the lights on.
Oh, okay. So, your NFL dream team. Last week we did the college dream team. What's your NFL dream team, Cheeks?
Mine's so predictable.
Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Go.
Okay, Joe Montana. Enough said.
Of course.
Yeah. My running back is Jim Brown. I mean, who doesn't love Jim Brown, right?
Yep.
And this is a multi-sport guy, too, when he went to college.
Wide receiver.
My wide receiver, if you're going to have Joe Montana, who are you going to have receiving for him?
Clark.
Jerry Rice.
Oh, I thought you said tight end. I got you a tight end.
And then my tight end is Zach Ertz, a former Eagle, playing for the Cardinals, completely useless for the Cardinals because they suck.
Nice. All right. We'll go with the Rebel.
Quarterback, I was torn because I'm a huge Montana guy.
Montana.
But how you can't go with Brady, I don't know. I mean, he's the greatest of all time, greatest football player of all time. But, sub in either one
Do
of
you
them.
want Brady in the first 10 years or the second 10 years?
All the above.
Really?
Dude, he just won it with Tampa Bay when he's been in the league for 20 years.
No, I want him the second 10 years.
I don't care. Running back, Barry, because if Barry Sanders had played for a really good team, he would be, his number of Super Bowls would be. Can you imagine him playing for the Cowboys?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So,
sure.
Wide receiver, I got to go with Megatron. The dude could always go up and get it. I don't care where you threw it. And tight end, I was between Gonzalez and Gronk. Gronk's more fun. Let's go with Gronk.
Let's go with Gronk. You got to go with Gronk.
Yeah.
Who do you got there, Ripper?
All right, tight end, I'm going Gronk. Wide receiver, I'm going Randy Moss.
I was torn with that one.
Yeah, why would you not?
He was my college guy.
Running back, and I'm going to go with Barry Sanders. Now here, not the quarterback I think is the best ever. One of the best ever to do it. It's not Tom Brady, but I want to hear Hubba Haw, Hubba Haw.
Oh, it's going Peyton.
Long. Peyton Manning.
Ain't no problem there either.
That was so funny. All right. Chopper, who do you got, man?
No smoother combo than Joe Montana and Jerry Rice.
Yeah, you got to go.
There's not a smoother combo in all of history in the NFL. Of course, my running back is also Barry Sanders. I agree.
Wow, you didn't go with Bo in his heyday?
Yeah, I didn't see enough
NFL
Bo in the
was a
NFL.
short, yeah.
In the
That's
NFL,
fair. That's fair.
college, Bo, but
But when he
NFL,
was there, he was good.
I know, but you got to go Barry Sanders, and then Gronk, of course.
Yeah, okay, so I have Tom Brady, like a lot of y'all
Shocker.
do, because I'm a New England Patriots fan, and I love the guy. And he's probably the only guy I would make out with in the entire world.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, cross
Because I love him that much.
You need to talk about this on your OnlyFans account, not here.
This got weird.
I'm just kidding, I would not do that. But if he asked me, I might.
Even somebody at the bar's laughing at you.
Emmett Smith running back because I love the guy and he's a Florida Gator. Chop, chop. Jerry Rice because, would you love to see Tom Brady to Jerry Rice?
No, I'd like to see Joe Montana to Jerry Rice.
For tight end, you better not say Aaron Hernandez.
No, Gronk.
Florida. He's a Florida guy.
He's a Florida guy. I gotta go with Aaron Hernandez. Come on, man.
That was Hanger's pick.
I'm kidding. Gronk because when Tom Brady and Gronk are together, the team just does better, man. So, hey, everybody, thank y'all for joining us for another week of Guys at the Bar Talking Sports.